Thank God it's Friday. It's the last working day of the week for many. But guess what? The year just got started and there is still quite a number of unfinished business for everyone. Good morning. Welcome to the show. I am Nifemi Oguntoye. Our attention this morning is turned to Abuja. Precisely the Abuja residence of the distinguished senator representing Kogi West Senatorial District, Senator Dino Melaye. I think that seat entered its 8th day today, and the police says they're operating on an order to arrest him for his alleged involvement in what they call an attack on their colleague. The police said the senator, alongside his armed thugs, allegedly shot one Sergeant Danjuma Saliu in July. Femi Akonde has details on the travels of Senator Dino Melaye, and it's a good place to start the show this morning.
You speak the truth, you die. You lie, you die. I, Dino Melaye, have chosen to speak the truth and die.
Was the vocal senator speaking the truth when he tweeted about plans by the Inspector General of Police to arrest him and inject him to death? The police dismissed his claims and called it mischievous, malicious, capable of misleading the public, and laughable. But it may have prompted the police to act. 2 days later, Dino Melaye's residence was under siege.
Dino Melaye is wanted by Nigerian police for a case of criminal conspiracy and attempted culpable homicide committed on the 19th of July 2018.
But this is not the first time he has been in trouble with the police. In 2018 alone, Dino Melaye had close shaves with the police 4 times. And he has been in and out of court on different charges leveled against him.
As I speak to you, Mr. President, I have been arraigned by the same police in 6 different courts.
One dramatic moment in the interesting life of the senator was his claims of a miraculous escape into the bush when an attempt was allegedly made to abduct him. Another one was when he jumped out of a moving police vehicle and landed in hospital. The senator representing Kogi West Senatorial District has become a trending topic in the news media and social media. But Dino Melaye is no stranger to the spotlight.
Dino, Melaye, Koshi, Melaye, Dino, 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 Dino.
He gets attention, sometimes for good reasons, and sometimes for other reasons. Dino Melaye was the first to blow the whistle on a suspected $137 million fraud in the NNPC. He also raised concerns over an alleged plot to defraud Nigerians of the Paris Club refunds to the tune of $200 million. The Kogi senator also gives his unflinching support to the president of the Senate and will do whatever it takes to show his loyalty. The senator is at loggerheads with the Kogi state governor and recently survived an attempt to recall him from the Senate. Dino Melaye is prominent not just as a senator, but also for his comic skits and viral short videos.
Do you know? Yaya Bello ma sewon leyin ijoba. I know. Yaya Bello ma sewon leyin ijoba.
While the police and the Kogi senator continue their game of hide and seek, he is busy placing videos on the internet from his hideout. As the standoff at the lawmaker's home continues, Nigerians watch, curious to see how this will end. Femi Akonde, TVC News, Abuja.
Indeed, we had some comic relief there. Let me introduce my guest to you on the show this morning. Ola Daniels is a lawyer and public affairs analyst. Good morning, and thank you for joining us on the program.
Good morning. Thank you.
Evans Ofili, lawyer, social commentator. Happy New Year to you.
Yeah, thank you. Happy New Year to Nigerians.
So it's interesting. Dino Melaye is fast becoming a phenomenon. He jumped off a moving police van in the outgone year. He claimed that he escaped being abducted by staying on the tree for 11 hours. It's also the 4th time the police will be attempting to arrest the distinguished senator who is currently on a court bail for a totally different charge. Why Dino?
The question, I don't think the question is why Dino. The question is, why do we run a barbaric system? Because seriously, let's take Dino away from being a senator, an average Nigerian. Now, one thing we must know, whatever Dino is going through today is caused by Dino himself. If there's an arrest and you're aware, why do you want, even evading arrest alone is an offense. 2, if the police want to arrest someone, I'm sure police is not going to come to my house if there's any need to arrest me, to come to my house and stay there for 8 days because I am not coming out. I expect the police know what to do and they should do it. You want to arrest someone, we know about warrant of arrest that you need to get an order. And if it's not coming out, you know what next to do. You can still get order from the court to force yourself into this house rather than throwing tear gas. One, because this, what we are talking about now, is not Dino that is being denied of freedom of movement and whatever. He has other family members in that house, they can't go out. He has probably his mother, his brothers, and there are other people in the house that cannot go out. Why? Because you have come for one person. So the sin of one person should be checked from every other person. No, don't forget there are other neighbors. Now they are tear gas. Other neighbors are suffering that. You know what to do. Then if also
I'm just wondering
Dino,
if those facts really can be verified, that there are other people in Dino's house as we speak right now. Because
the brother came out.
it is even still very controversial whether Dino himself is in that building.
If at all, let's even assume, okay, well, let's say we can verify somebody, but my colleague said, yes, the brother came aboard. Even if we cannot verify, let us assume it's a family house. Dino cannot be the only one living in that whole house. Aside from that, there are neighbors. Now, you are there and you become nuisance. And to the public because you want to arrest one person. If you do the right thing, we don't need all these dramas. I see this as a comic arena. You see, we don't need it.
It's all right.
You can actually arrest Dino by not disturbing every other person. Then if Dino also feel his right is being infringed, there is law and order.
Dino has gone to court, and it's interesting to know that the Federal High Court actually
denied. Yes, I saw that yesterday.
Denied him that request of having the police leave.
Yes.
But then let's get into the details. Has the police stopped people from coming out of the house? Has there been, Dino alleged that his gate man or his security man was beaten and also arrested. I'm actually interested in first the perception of how involved the police has been in this case. Recall that the controversial senator is already facing 2 separate charges of attempted suicide and another one allegedly arming criminal suspects. People will say that perhaps all of this also boils down to the the criminal justice system. If someone has been in court for how long, how come all of these cases are inconclusive, and right here in the new year we're still talking about the siege on his house?
Well, I think the siege on his house is a fresh charge. It has nothing to do with the previous charges.
But if those charges have been conclusive, perhaps it would have given us a fresh perspective to who he is, either innocent or not. As a lawyer, you understand that no matter huge allegations are brought against an individual, until it's proven guilty or otherwise, it's still presumably innocent in the eye of the law.
Yes, but you are right. By section 36, 35 of the Constitution, a person is presumed innocent until the contrary is proven. And then, well, the 2 other cases or the pending cases he has, as long as the court have not concluded them, okay, it is neither here nor there until the courts, conclude on those cases and we're able to see clearly whether he's guilty or not of the charges against him, whether the prosecution have proven their case or not. Until then, we can't keep comment on that. But what we can talk about is what is going on here. My friend said that the police have not really done the right thing the way they have gone about it, given that they should have taken certain measures which they have not taken. And I also believe that in as much as that is right, I also think also that it is not only the police that should do the right thing here. Dino himself needs to do the right thing also. You see, Section 33 of the Constitution talk about right to life. Everyone have a right to life. And then no one's life should be taken away from him. Blah, 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 blah. But there's an exception also in that same section, subsection to that, that the only time a person's life can be taken away from him, one is when you resist arrest. Two, when you have been convicted by a competent court of jurisdiction that you should die. So I think what I'm drawing out here is that it is dangerous to resist arrest. And Nigerians should know this. It is very dangerous because you are not supposed to take the laws into your hand. If if there is an allegation, okay, that he has committed an offense, or there is a tendency, or there is an allegation that he's involved in some activities that led to the commission of an offense, he ought to submit himself.
Is it not even strange that we're talking about a siege? You know, according to a senior advocate of Nigeria, what the police is doing now is according him a special treatment that is normally reserved for very important personalities. I mean, if you have a warrant of arrest, doesn't the police also have the right to break into wherever they believe the suspect is and apprehend him?
If they have a warrant of arrest, of course, they have the right to go into wherever the person is.
What do you think is really stopping the police?
I actually cannot say exactly why they have not been able to go in. Okay, because in one of the siege, I learned the brother came out and they made inquiries. I mean, Dino's brother came out and made inquiries that they want to see the senator, that the senator need to answer certain questions with the police. You understand? And at the end of the day, he didn't come out and we didn't know how that went. But as it stands now, I think that it will be proper, okay, if they have the required legal instruments to effect the arrest, they should go ahead and effect the arrest, okay? And then if the suspect himself understands the position, he ought not to even allow them to siege his house. He ought to have submitted himself if there is an invitation to that effect.
So the journalists were allowed in a couple of days ago, and but what exactly is the provision of the law as regards, you know, obtaining? According to the police, they have a warrant of arrest.
Yes.
What exactly is holding them back from breaking in to apprehend who they believe is a suspect?
Well, the way I see it, the police try in their bid to put up a drama. Unfortunately for them, they met a great actor in the place of Dino Melaye. So now, you're coming up with a drama, now there is a great actor at the other side. Of course, what they are doing, they are putting Nigeria as a nation and in the limelight of the world to say, you people are just comedians.
Are you saying the police should have broken into his residence?
There's no, you claim you have a warrant of arrest with you. If you feel that, okay, that is not enough for you as a police, the same court is there to go back and ask for the order of forced entrance, forced access to the house. That is, if you think, oh, if you do this, what will the law say? The court is there. Go back and get the order to force yourself into the house. Get into the house, whether it's for search warrant, whether it's for arrest warrant, get in there. If it is for search, you search. If it is for arrest, pick whoever, arrest the person and go. So that is the reason why I call it drama, that they have decided to put up a drama, because there's no reason for what is happening today.
But the Federal High Court in Abuja refused a request by the senator for police to vacate his residence and desist from further attempts at arresting him. Does that in any way empowers the action of the police at this time?
Well, you see, the police, aside from the refusal of the order, okay, they're already empowered by law. Section 4 of the Police Act, even the Constitution, had already empowered the police that once there's reasonable suspicion that a person has committed an offense or is about to commit an offense, you should effect an arrest. But what I think has happened in this case, from the way the police are going about it, it is safe to presume that perhaps they do not have the requisite legal instruments.
And that's why they've not broken in?
That is what I think, because if they do, nothing is stopping them from effecting
Let's
the
look at
arrest.
the timeline of events here. On the 23rd of July, a letter of invitation was addressed to the clerk of the National Assembly, informing it of a case of criminal conspiracy and attempted culpable homicide against a distinguished senator. I have seen a snapshot of that particular document. What the distinguished senator is saying, for instance, is that the Senate president was not asked or was not told about his arrest. Isn't this a form of invitation that since July, for crying out loud?
Well, anyway, the police came out to deny that statement because the police said they actually wrote and they served the clerk of the house. Now, the Senate president came to say that that was not true. Now, the police is saying then the clerk should come out and tell the world, okay, did you receive any letter of invitation of Senator Dino Melaye? And the clerk has not said anything. Now, it's between the police and the Senate president, which we don't know the truth, because police is saying we served. They are saying, is the Senate president, let's clear that is saying that we are not aware of the letter. Now, saying even from that time to this time, Dino Melaye cannot tell us that he's not aware.
But is the police under any obligation to get permission from the Senate president before arresting a sitting senator who doesn't have an immunity?
Not at all. Not at all. The police does not have any permission from the Senate. They have only done the right thing, because you can't just enter the red chamber to pick anybody. You must go through a process, which they did. They went through the clerk. There's an invitation to the clerk and all that. And what I have seen in play is not building institution. Even the police, to the constitution they have sworn to, are not even doing that. And I'm sure what is happening here is waiting for an order from one individual person somewhere. Maybe it's Mr. President or something, to say, okay, leave there or pick him. Or some of the chieftains come to say, leave or pick him. When you have the law, the instrument is there.
Let me come to you very quickly, Evans. In that particular letter dated 23rd of July, the police requested that the senator report to the Deputy Commissioner of Police, Kogi State Command, by July 26th. Now, this siege did not begin until December last year. Why take that long?
Well, I think perhaps we could say that the police took their time to go through the process, as he said, in order to get him informed first that there's a charge against him, and then he's supposed to report to a particular location to answer to the charges or to answer to the allegation against him. Now, I think that other than sending a letter to the House, what the police ought to have done, this is a senator that have no immunity. Why did they have to go through the channel of the House? Why didn't they effect arrests before now in his house? Because if you look at the timeline, I think perhaps they thought the House would willingly surrender him or ask him to go. Whether or not he has been told to do that, we cannot verify, okay? But I think that the police ought to have, because it's not, like he said, I think it's a question of it's an institutional thing, because even most senators believe that they are above the law. Some of them believe they are above the law, okay? The way they go about issues, you see that, okay? And then the police should not buy into that. It is only the president, the vice president, governors, and the deputies that have immunity, okay? So I think they should have gone straight and then effect arrest in his house and then make him to come and answer to charges against him, other than going around laying siege, using tear gas and all that. You are really making a mess of the system and the institution. It appears the police are powerless. It appears they are waiting for some voice somewhere. Okay.
This is the fourth time the police is attempting to arrest the same senator. What you talk about, it appears the police being powerless. You also begin to wonder, how do you enforce? How do you, really empower the police to do its job, especially in the midst of controversies? The Senate president already came out to say that, this is indeed to stop Dino Melaye from participating in the 2019 election. In the midst of all these political insinuations, how does the police do its job?
Well, that can only be achievable if we have a formidable institution. When I say formidable institution, we are talking about police as an institution, the police first. Now, that the police is not accountable to an individual, but to the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. To whatever you do, you're accountable. You do without fear or favor. You do without instruction from Mr. A or Mr. B. When you know your duty, you have the Police Act has stated everything they need to do. We have the Constitution that is governing everything. If you swear an oath to this, and we have a formidable, and you say that's the reason why, you hear Mr. A, Mr. B, if he's there, this will happen. If Mr. B is there, this will happen. It should not be so. If we have an institution, in quote, a strong institution, and that applies to all parastatals, and it applies to all agencies, even in Nigeria. And that is the reason why you hear people talk about witch hunting. That is when you hear people talk about, my enemy, their enemy is opposition and all that. But if we have a strong institution, I don't think those allegations will arise in any way. But what do we see? Look at the instances from July to December. This is January, to arrest one person. Somehow, maybe someone has not given some instructions. And what you hear sometimes, you hear order from above. And I'm wondering, which above? Is this the Federal Constitution of Nigeria, or Mr. A or Mr. B? You see, that is why we are here where we are, and that is the reason why you don't see things working the way it should. And that is the reason also why you see people from the opposition or other side to raise allegations of man hunting, witch hunting, and all that, because of the barbaric system we run.
That's all right.
It's a great nation, but full of comedians as leaders.
Can we say categorically now, as a lawyer, that the senator in question is resisting arrest?
Yes, for not coming out.
Simple.
For not coming out when he is aware, or there's a presumption.
Is that punishable under the law?
Of course.
Yes, it's an offense.
If you resist arrest, it's an offense. You can be charged for that.
All right, so that brings us to why he's not yielding himself. He has alleged that, the IGP would inject him and, kill him. Of course, they didn't get proper permission from the Senate president. How relevant are these claims?
Well, you see...
Because there's also the issue of fundamental human rights. If someone is saying that, my life is at stake here,
yes.
Are there provisions for him to evade arrest?
No. When you think that your life is at risk based on the allegations leveled against you, you first of all need to submit yourself, okay, so that your statement is procured and all that. And in the process, okay, you're also given certain constitutional safeguards, okay, like not allowing yourself to be forced to write statements, getting your lawyer present, okay, the caution and all that. There are some guards, constitutional safeguards. But the problem we have is that the police also, in a way, have a history of not being very thorough with their investigation and not being very thorough with the way they go about the suspects. You go to some police stations upon accusation. I've been to a police station where the suspect was brought out from the cell, and a policeman who just came to work that morning, who was, signing his name in, said, he looked at him and said, now you collect person money chop, you will suffer today. Do you understand? This is a suspect that you've not seen his statements. You've not even
investigated.
You've not done any. I'm not saying all of them are like that. I'm saying that some of them have that proclivity. Okay, perhaps while we're discussing Dino and resistance of arrest and all that, we should also be looking at the formation of the police force.
I'm just wondering if Dino
of the
Melaye
police.
wasn't a senator, are we going to have the same challenge?
Well, that is, as much as I know, is that those who are not privileged in this society, they are not really accorded the kind of respect or what we see. That will not be, they won't do that if it's someone who is not a senator, who is just an ordinary Nigerian.
You're saying they would have broken
They
it?
would have gone in there and even, sometimes they don't even go with warrant of arrest or search warrant or all that, but they carry out all those activities and all that. We've seen cases like that, okay? But I think that much more than talking about Senator Dino Melaye, his wrongs, his rights as a Nigerian citizen, we also need to look at the institutions, okay? Like he said, how well are these institutions, because if the institutions are not driven proper, the citizens will not respect the institutions. And that's what's going on here. Hardly will you see people Nigerians who truly respect the police force. It's coming from a long history of defect. It's coming from a long history of sometimes because of the way they live, the lifestyle, and then the way they go about their activities. Perhaps we should correct this vis-a-vis also looking at the citizens and letting them know that you need not resist. I will not support Dino for resisting arrest. I won't support Dino. I will support the police rather to do their job. But while doing their job, they must, follow laid down procedures, due process of law in achieving whatever it is the assignment is.
All of this is happening in an atmosphere of suspicion. So quite a number of people are asking, why did it take so long? If you had written a letter as far back as July, the Senate President is saying this is too close to an election year and all of that. Of course, as we speak right now, we understand that utility supply, water, electricity has been cut. And when we return from this break, we'll open the phone lines and also talk more about, the relevance of the actions already taken by the police. Stay with us. Thanks for staying with us. Now, the police laying siege on the Abuja residence of Senator Dino Melaye are on order to arrest him for his alleged involvement in an attack on their colleague. Now, the police said the senator, alongside his armed thugs, shot one certain Danjuma Saliu in July. Femi Akonde has a report that chronicles the travel of the distinguished senator.
You speak the truth, you die. You lie, you die. I, Dino Melaye, have chosen to speak the truth and die.
Was the vocal senator speaking the truth when he tweeted about plans by the Inspector General of Police to arrest him and inject him to death? The police dismissed his claims and called it mischievous, malicious, capable of misleading the public, and laughable. But it may have prompted the police to act. 2 days later, Dino Melaye's residence was under siege.
Dino Melaye is wanted by Nigerian police for a case of criminal conspiracy and attempted culpable homicide committed on the 19th of July 2018.
But this is not the first time he has been in trouble with the police. In 2018 alone, Dino Melaye had close shaves with the police 4 times. And he has been in and out of court on different charges leveled against him.
As I speak to you, Mr. President, I have been arraigned by the same police in 6 different courts.
One dramatic moment in the interesting life of the senator was his claims of a miraculous escape into the bush when an attempt was allegedly made to abduct him. Another one was when he jumped out of a moving police vehicle and landed in hospital. The senator representing Kogi West Senatorial District has become a trending topic in the news media and social media. But Dino Melaye is no stranger to the spotlight.
Dino, Melaye, Koshi, Melaye, Dino, 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 Dino.
He He gets attention, sometimes for good reasons, and sometimes for other reasons.
àjẹkùn ìyá ni ó jẹ ẹni tí ò tó ní nà tí ń dènà dé ní àjẹkùn ìyá ni ó jẹ.
Dino Melaye was the first to blow the whistle on a suspected $137 million fraud in the NNPC. He also raised concerns over an alleged plot to defraud Nigerians of the Paris Club refunds to the tune of $200 million. The Kogi senator also gives his unflinching support to the president of the Senate and will do whatever it takes to show his loyalty. The senator is at loggerheads with the Kogi state governor and recently survived an attempt to recall him from the Senate. Dino Melaye is prominent not just as a senator but also for his comic skits and viral short videos.
Do you know Yaya Bello máa ṣẹ̀wọ̀n lẹ́yìn ìjọba? I know Yaya Bello máa ṣẹ̀wọ̀n lẹ́yìn ìjọba.
While the police and the Kogi senator continue their game of hide and seek, he is busy placing videos on the internet from his hideout. As the standoff at the lawmaker's home continues, Nigerians watch, curious to see how this will end. Femi Akonde.
Interesting, isn't it? All right, so the phone line is open right now. I understand we have a caller already from Benin. Good morning and welcome to the show, Roy. Good morning, Roy.
Good morning, my brother. Happy New Year to you all.
Wish you the same, Roy.
Wish you the same.
Thank you, my brother. It's quite a long time.
Yes, it is. All right.
It is very unfortunate that this country we have degenerated to this level. And if you look at Dino Melaye as a man, not as a person, you will know for some time the Nigerian government and the institution of government are consistently making him more popular when it's unnecessary. You know, we are not a banana republic. We expect what is going on now for the government of the day to, as a matter of urgency, respond to this issue, because the police as an institution, they are failing us. You know, the kind of what is going on, I've never seen in any part of the world. Where will this happen? How will they reduce us to this level? To me, I am not comfortable, and I believe genuine Nigerians are not comfortable with what is happening in this country. You know, it is very necessary at this point to call on the presidency under the leadership of Muhammad Buhari to a matter of urgency and patriotism, order, if possible, because the consistency of this the police to remain in the abode of Dino Melaye, you are not doing Nigeria favor, rather are helping us before the international community. And I want them to take the decision of this. We are not a banana republic. We are being governed by laws and order. What does it take for the Nigerian police to look at the constitution? What does the constitution say so that they work accordingly? Thank you, Professor.
Thank you, Roy Urbabo, for your contribution on the show. Gentlemen, you know, there's no way you can tell Dino's story without referring to his skits and some of the things they say. Is that any way breaking the law? Does he have any legal obligation as a sitting senator not to do those things he does? Of course, you know, the recent siege on his house yet again showed us his fleet of cars and all of that. Because when people talk about this on the streets, these are the issues they mention. How legally relevant are these?
No, there are no laws that should restrain him from showing whatever he has or saying whatever he wants to say. But there is a moral burden as a senator. That is why they are called honorables. They are not supposed to be seen making certain kind of expressions. They are supposed to be reserved because they are like role models. A lot of people look up to them, especially people from their constituencies and even outside their constituencies.
So it's pretty much a moral burden.
Yeah, it's just a moral thing.
Let's take this call from Victoria Island. Good morning, Super.
Good morning, Nifemi.
Glad to have you on the show.
And I want to appreciate you for your anchor this morning. And I want to appreciate your guests, the way they are speaking this morning.
Thank you.
You guys are not neutral. Especially you are not neutral. And I pray for you that you should take over this leadership of anchor on this morning.
Super, can you just go ahead with your contribution?
Okay.
Before you put me in trouble.
The world are laughing at us. But we don't know, because we are the ones that are fooling ourselves. We are the ones that are making the world to laugh at us. The question the entire people are asking, why now? Why now? This is election period. I mean, there are cries all over the world that the opposition are being hacked from all looks and corners. And we are now seeing the reality, which is unfair. Thank you very much and have a good day.
Glad to hear from you. So the lawmaker earlier, you want to say something?
Yes, just to change maybe the Nigerian mind. Because the system we run has brought us to this point of asking the questions, why now? If we have a strong institution, the police can pick anybody at any time, even if it's the day of the election, and something had happened that requires an arrest at that time, there's no reason. If we have is an institution, it's because we don't have institution and because the system is so porous that what we are used to is that, why will they do this? Why will they do that? The police and his opposition, is me, he's winch hunting. And that is the reason why all of us ask the questions. Why now?
When the independence of the security operatives.
Thank you. It shouldn't be a question at all.
Let's talk about where the senator is. The lawmaker earlier told journalists on phone that he was not in the house. It claimed that the police, believe is not true. You think the police is right this time?
Well, that is
not
actually
right
police,
there in
the police believe he's in the house, and they are working towards, apprehending him in the house.
That's right.
But if he had come to say he's not there, we cannot possibly say it is true or it is false, okay? Because his location, even the police have not cited him, as far as I know, in this matter. So until perhaps he's cited in a different location, we cannot say it's not in there, okay? And we cannot also conclude that it's in there if he has not been cited until then.
Let's take this call from Joss. Good morning, Frank.
Good morning, Femi.
Good morning.
First time caller.
Oh, glad to have you on the show. Welcome, Frank.
Happy New Year to you people and your guests in the show.
I wish you the same.
Nifemi, my contribution to this issue is a big slap to Nigeria. Because what is happening, the whole wide world are laughing at us. To gather almost not less than about how many policemen just to arrest one person. Which that is Boko Haram destroying, bandit destroying piece of people. And the federal government or the police have nothing to do about life and property. Just to chase one person with almost about 20-something to 30 police is not fair. It's a big slap to Nigeria. We should sit down, go to the Constitution, exactly what your guests are saying. There is a procedure for all those things. He is not backing Dino, and he's not saying police are not doing their job. Police are doing their job, but they should follow the right channel for them not to insult their integrity. It is a very big slap to Nigeria. And moreover, election is closer.
I think you made your point very clearly, Frank. Thank you very much for calling in on the show. Now, let's look at this case, a case of criminal conspiracy and what the police called attempted culpable homicide against the distinguished senator. How serious is this case? Is it a capital offense?
What can you call it if it's not a capital offense? It's clear. It is a capital offense. A policeman was shot. He's still there at the hospital.
But the offense have not been proven.
It's still an allegation.
It is an allegation. So we are working on the allegation to say it is a serious offense. And that's the reason why I'm really, really not in line with the police laying siege for 8 days to arrest someone that you have alleged, has committed such an offense. Because this is not terrorists that they have laid against to say, they want to capture, or it may be robbery or somewhere that they had other citizens. And this is one person you want to arrest.
I'm just wondering how relevant the senator's arrest is in the police investigation, for instance, in getting evidence to take to court and all of that. Do you think that his arrest is pivotal to police investigation?
Well, his arrest is part of police investigation, because upon arrests, he is expected to make statements. Okay. And with the statements, the police will have materials for which they can continue their investigation.
Let me hold you for a minute to take this call from Ilora in Kwara State. Good morning, Olalere.
Good morning.
Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I don't know if I can add my voice to the program.
Go ahead, you're here already.
Hello?
We can hear you clearly.
Yeah, can I keep speaking?
Yes, go ahead, Olalere.
Okay. Yeah, to me, Nigeria is just a country of gestures. First and foremost, all the noise we make about arresting very important people is not called for. I want to believe that we merely wasting our time, and there's nothing so special about it. In any case, they are also helping us to probably have to unwind. I mean, after a hard day job. To me, police should leave that place. Dino will come out one day, and they can get him arrested. We are making Dino more important than he should have been. I mean, we're selling him. We're making him more important. We're celebrating a role, so to say, in quotes. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you for your contribution, Olalere. The senior advocate of Nigeria, Femi Falana, has asked the senator to, yield himself to the police. That's perhaps the way out right now. Do you see an alternative?
That is a normal thing to do because it's just an allegation against him. The police, the prosecution, must prove beyond reasonable doubt. The standard is beyond reasonable doubt. And most of the time, because of the way they go about their investigation, it's even difficult for the police to prove beyond reasonable doubt. I'm not saying that's the case here, but I'm saying that the senator should yield himself. And then, go there. Let's if you are not guilty and the prosecution is unable to prove its case, you cannot be convicted. Okay? So that's what I think should be done. It's not all the time. People should not be running away from the police. Maybe they do that because of the way the police have also laid precedents. That is what I think.
It's so pathetic that the lawmakers that make the laws don't even believe in the enforcement of the law.
Let's take this call very quickly. Good morning, Additional. Calling in from Ojo.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning
to your guests in the studio.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
The topic this morning, Nigeria police versus Dino Melaye, is in a normal climb with a show of shame the Nigerian police displayed in the siege of the so-called senators before the financial community is absolutely shameful. Absolutely. We are talking about insurgency, we are talking about insecurities in many states. And I can now begin to see the number of police that besiege, that will just besiege just one person, an individual. We are talking about 117 million of Nigerians, and just one person. Do you mean that even two police, one police to one senator is okay to get his arrest? I do not know why by now in a normal time all the chiefs of the so-called the police should be fired and not allow this kind of nonsense to be happening. People are watching us. It's a shame to my own community that in a community you cannot even see two police to man that place. So take control of that situation. You are now deploying almost a platoon, about 30 police to look for one man to arrest. And this so-called senator is a Nigerian senator, for Christ's sake. Where is he going to run to? It will be difficult for you to arrest. It cannot be difficult for you to arrest. It absolutely cannot be difficult for you to arrest. It cannot run to anywhere. It's a Nigerian. And as long as he's alive and he's in Nigeria, there should not be a problem that you are taking siege of his house for almost 8 days. Very shameful. Good morning.
Good morning, Additional. Thank you for your contribution. Quite an angry Nigerian there. The fact that there is insecurity in the insurgency in the Northeast, and there are not even enough policemen to police Nigerians. So we have close to 50 in one senator's Abuja residence. But we understand the utility like light and water supply, have been cut. Is that a police way of, choking him out of the house? And then I'm wondering if police could do that, why not just break in and apprehend him?
Well, cutting lights and water and all that, I think the police are going outside their bounds.
Is that infringing on this human rights?
Of course, you are vandalizing the property. In fact, the police should be charged for that offense.
But if they break in, they will have vandalized some property as well.
The primary responsibility of the police is to protect life and properties, even the life of a suspect should be protected.
You're saying that his life is at stake now with that action?
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying for vandalizing property, okay, in the premises, okay, that is not what the police ought to do. I don't know who gave them that directive. That is not what they ought to do. They should have gone to court to get the requisite legal instruments to break in. And that is what they're supposed to do. But going to vandalize electricity, pipe bomb, and all that, you are making a mess of. You are making, in fact, this is a show of shame. You are creating drama. You are supposed to be enforcing law. You are supposed to be making sure that there's order, even in the process of arrest. And now you are disorderly. You are vandalizing things.
Joshua is calling in from Irewole, Ogun State. Good morning, Joshua.
Okay, good morning. Happy New Year to you, Nifemi, and to your guest.
Wish you the same.
My point is, I think we should have a sense of priority in discussing national matters. I think the issue here is an alleged crime. And I would ask when is the right time to commit a crime? When is the right time to arrest a criminal? Now, there's an alleged criminal conduct. And if the police have done their investigation and they think this is the right time to effect an arrest, if the citizen should submit himself for arrest. If it doesn't, then whatever method the police uses to arrest the person, we should keep quiet.
I think we lost that call there, Joshua.
I think I should not be arrested. Our leaders should lead by example. That's the important thing. If he's arrested, they will make statements. That is part of the investigation. The right thing will be done. Let's follow orders and stop saying PDP or APC. This is not PDP. This is Nigeria. It's not APC.
It's all right.
There's a criminal allegation to be defended by anybody. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Joshua, for your contribution on the program. Well, he seems to have made a point, but then you cannot also just shy away from the position of someone like the Senate president, who, according to him, what is happening right now to the distinguished senator has everything to do with politics. I'm quoting him now. Inspector General of Police Ibrahim Idris has become the most partisan police boss in Nigeria's history. This method of digging out some old charges and allegations to arrest and incarcerate political opponents has presented this current IG as the most partisan head of the Nigerian police ever. End of quote. How relevant is his position at this time?
Well, I'm not expecting anything less from Senate President. Unfortunately, our leaders had failed us. Now, this is our leaders. These are the lawmakers. Now, these are the people that are supposed to do everything in their power to make sure that we have a strong institutions at all levels. Now, these are the same people that don't believe in the so-called institution, they made. Now, these are the people that feel that these people, we kill them. These are the people that is talking about politics when in actual fact, there's an issue. Now, the question I asked an average Nigerian each time they come to say, oh, there's a witch hunt. And I ask, now, is there any allegation? They say yes. Now, is there any investigation? They say yes. So what have they received so far? They said they've done this, they've done that, they've done that. Then you are still telling me it's a witch hunt.
Let me hold you for a minute to take this call from Surulere. Good morning, Ifeanyi.
Good morning, sir.
Glad to have you. Go ahead, please.
Good morning to your guest here.
Good morning.
Please, I want to make a very short contribution. Because with little experience of this country, I want to believe that Dino Melaye is simply hiding because once the police get him, he will remain on their custody till the general election comes to an end. And I think that is the main purpose. Not as if we cannot attend to it, but I think this is the most, because I've seen it happen in this country. People are asking why now, and I'm also asking why now. So it's not that he cannot attend to that case. And believe me that once they get him, the next thing you will hear is that we are still investigating him. We are still investigating. So why are they rushing? I think. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your contribution. We're wrapping up now. When an arrest is shrouded in a lot of political insinuation, it's an indictment not only on the police, but on the security, infrastructure of our country. How can we begin to evolve beyond politics? The fact that, a policeman can actually do his job without the political opposition seeing it as an affront.
Yes, until we begin to have proper institutions and institutions that will have a mind of their own. Because as we speak now, most institutions in Nigeria have no mind of their own. Okay, if you look at INEC, it's almost the same thing. You look at the police force, it's almost the same thing. You look at the sensitive institutions of state, they are usually being swayed and influenced by some power somewhere. Okay, but by the time we begin to evolve, the day we decide that it is only the institution, okay, that will drive the process of a new political order, that is the day we will take charge of the system.
I keep hearing institution, I keep hearing systems. How do we arrive at a working system and a working institution in this part of the world?
One, an average Nigerian must be a patriot. I was somewhere, and the way those people carry their nation, as in, I had tears rolling from my eyes. If only Nigerians, once you have a position or you have whatever you have you appointed or elected, you swore to an oath. The Constitution guide us as a nation. Now, you become a patriot, meaning you become a Nigerian, and everything that comes to you, Nigeria comes first before even Mr. President. Nigeria comes first. You swear to that oath. When we start saying things, we start doing things right, we will have a strong institution. When we start doing things without fear and favor, we will have strong institutions. When we know the right thing and we're not sharing them away because of eye service or what Mr. A or Mr. B will do, or even that I will be fired, we will have a strong institution. We saw what happened recently in US when a whole Minister of Defense left the cabinet because he said the policy of the president and him is, not together. They are not working together because he swore an oath to the Constitution, not to Mr. President. And yet, you can see what happened. Until we get to that point, then we have a formidable
Gentlemen, we have to go now.
We have a great system.
It's day 8. What do you expect the police to do?
Well, I expect the police to leave that premises. Someone who called just said.
Without effecting the arrest.
Because you have not made progress. Rather, you have resorted into lawlessness by vandalizing things. That is itself lawless.
What do you expect the senator to do?
The senator, submit yourself to the police. Police, get the appropriate order. Leave that place. Stop wasting our resources. Get the appropriate order. Get into the house if the senator is not coming out. But the senator, I will advise him, surrender yourself to the police. It's just an investigation.
Gentlemen, thank you very much for coming on the show today. I've been speaking with Melaye Daniels, lawyer and public affairs analyst. Ivan Zafele is a lawyer and social commentator. Thank you very much for sharing your thoughts on the program.
Thank you.
And that wraps it on the show this morning. We'll be back next week, God willing, with another interesting one. I am Nifemi Oguntoye. Goodbye for now.